Just before 11 p.m. on February 25, the Birmingham police issued an alert about 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson, a young mother, who had gone missing. Earlier that morning, Mahogany sent her family a desperate text message around 7:30 a.m., indicating that she was in danger and being held against her will at an unknown location. Despite the uncertainty, she managed to share a pin with her location. In her message, she urged her family not to call her but to contact the police and provided the address of the Serenity Apartments in Birmingham's Powderly community. Concerns heightened as her mother posted on Facebook, expressing that Mahogany was in distress and needed help. Promptly, her family mobilized efforts to organize a search party. Welcome to Off the Wall Crimes, Lost Souls Edition. Hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified for more off-the-wall crime stories. At approximately 2 a.m. the following morning, the police received a distressing phone call reporting a body found on the roadside. Officers were swiftly dispatched to 17th Street Southwest in Laurel Avenue, located in an illegal dumping ground in southwest Birmingham. Upon arrival, they discovered a horrifying sight: the lifeless body of an adult female concealed beneath a mattress. Shockingly, this location was only 2.5 miles away from Mahogany's last known whereabouts. The victim was identified as 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson, who tragically passed away at the scene due to multiple gunshot wounds. This transformed the investigation from a missing persons case to a homicide. Authorities were unable to determine whether she was murdered at the crime scene or elsewhere. There were no reports from neighbors of hearing gunshots or sightings of unknown vehicles in the vicinity. At around 6:30 a.m. that morning, Mahogany's mother, en route to an Atlanta airport, received the distressing text from Mahogany and immediately took to Facebook, expressing her anguish with the words, "They killed my child." The investigation later unveiled that Mahogany had been kidnapped on Sunday and held captive at her friend's apartment until at least Sunday evening before being discovered shot to death on the roadside early Monday morning. Upon arrival at her friend's second-floor apartment, where Mahogany was last seen, the friend falsely claimed that Mahogany had left around 2 a.m. However, as Mahogany had already contacted her family directly, the police knew this assertion was false, and Mahogany's body was found just hours later. Initially, there were no charges filed in the case, and the police lacked any leads. However, just a few days later, law enforcement made a startling announcement: 8 suspects were apprehended in connection to the kidnapping and homicide. Among them was Mahogany's friend and purported ringleader of the entire ordeal, 26-year-old Taja Lewis. The following day, she was allegedly discovered hiding inside a forcibly entered apartment near her own residence within the same complex. Before proceeding further, it's important to note some background information. Based on various posts on Facebook, Taja was reputed for orchestrating setups, so it's not entirely surprising that she would engage in criminal activities. Her past record includes an arrest in May 2022 for firing a gun into an occupied school bus or building, a reckless and dangerous act demonstrating her disregard for societal norms. Additionally, there were suggestions in social media posts that Taja's mother mentioned Mahogany receiving her tax refund at an ATM, implying that Taja may have targeted Mahogany for robbery. Although this claim lacks concrete evidence and hasn't been confirmed, it paints a troubling picture of Taja's involvement. Reports also indicate that Mahogany's family acknowledged prior disputes between Mahogany and Taja. This conflict wasn't a minor disagreement but rather a significant altercation between two groups. It appears that Taja, along with several other women, violently assaulted Mahogany in a parking lot after Mahogany allegedly made remarks about one of the women's partners. In retaliation, Mahogany and her associates confronted Taja at a gas station convenience store. Initially, it seemed like a fair confrontation, but it quickly escalated when Taja intervened, knocking Mahogany to the ground and striking her in the face. Taja then proceeded to mount Mahogany and repeatedly hit her in the head, joined by another woman who assisted in dragging Mahogany across the parking lot. The altercation continued with both women punching Mahogany until it eventually ceased. Before being fatally shot in the back of her head, Mahogany endured hours of torture, according to a prosecutor speaking at a preliminary hearing. The 20-year-old mother of a 3-year-old daughter faced physical and sexual attacks, many of which were captured on video by the suspects. She was so frightened during the ordeal that she had a bowel movement on the floor. These details were revealed during the hearing before District Judge William Bell, involving 6 of the 8 suspects charged in Mahogany's kidnapping and death. 3 suspects, Brandon Pope, Francis Ace Harris, and Jeremiah Kodak McDowell, were charged with capital murder during a first-degree kidnapping and capital murder during first-degree sodomy. 5 others, including Taja Lewis, Sinai McCall, Giovanni Clapp, Blair Green, and Ariana Lachey Robinson, faced felony murder charges. Initially, Lewis and Clapp were also charged with second-degree assault for allegedly pistol whipping. Following the hearing, the judge determined there was probable cause to send the capital murder during a kidnapping charge for Pope, Harris, and McDowell to a grand jury. Additionally, the judge bound over the capital murder during a rape/sodomy charge for Harris but dismissed similar charges against Pope and McDowell. All felony murder charges were also sent to the grand jury. The second-degree assault charge against Clapp was downgraded to a third-degree assault charge, which is a misdemeanor. Monday, February 26, her body was found beneath mattresses at an illegal dumping site in the 1700 block of Laurel Avenue, known as Dead Man's Road. During the investigation at the site where Jackson's body was discovered, a witness arrived at the Birmingham City Jail, claiming to have information about Jackson's murder. This witness, who is described as like a brother to Lewis, stated that Lewis had contacted him that morning when family and police had arrived at her apartment searching for Jackson. After visiting Lewis' apartment, the witness accompanied Lewis and McCall to Pope's house. It was there, at Pope's residence, that the witness claimed to have conversed with Harris. Detective Green relayed that Harris provided a detailed account of the assault and admitted to shooting and killing Mahogany Jackson. Harris also disclosed the location of Jackson's body. Detective Green clarified that the witness was not present during Jackson's assault or murder. According to Detective Green, the abduction originated at Pope's residence on Macmillan Avenue. Authorities disclosed that Jackson had visited Pope's house on Saturday night along with several individuals, all of whom she was acquainted with. Pope informed investigators that Jackson was distressed because someone had stolen a gun and money from her purse. Detective Green testified that the gun in Jackson's possession was one she had previously stolen from another person. Pope recounted that Jackson then confiscated a gun from McDowell and compelled him, at gunpoint, to remove his clothes to verify he wasn't concealing the stolen gun, which he wasn't. Detective Green stated that during the early hours of the morning, Pope expressed a sentiment along the lines of, "Kill her, or take some action against her, that woman made me strip." At one stage, the assaults on Jackson commenced. One of the videos, captured outside Pope's residence, depicted Lewis and McCall repeatedly attacking Jackson, with Jackson on the ground as testified by Green. Lewis, at one point, was observed straddling Jackson and delivering punches to her head. In the video, Jackson is heard conceding defeat and pleading to be released. Throughout the assault at Pope's residence, Jackson was subjected to being stripped, kicked, punched, spat on, and dragged by her hair towards a vehicle. McCall can be heard in the video urging someone to open the trunk, as stated by Detective Green. Clapp was reportedly recording the events at that time. Jackson was then relocated to the Serenity Apartments where Lewis and McCall resided. 4 additional videos were recorded at that location, according to the detective. Jackson was then shown being coerced into performing oral sex on defendant Blair Green, with Lewis and McCall holding her at gunpoint. The sexual assault took place in McCall's bedroom, with Lewis holding the back of Jackson's head and McCall holding the gun while recording the assault. During the detective's testimony on Wednesday, he mentioned that Jackson was pressured to hurry because she was told there was another person waiting for her to perform oral sex on them. Additionally, one of the suspects pulled down Jackson's pants and attempted to force McDowell to rape her while she was in handcuffs. Green testified that McDowell admitted to having sex with Jackson but claimed it was consensual. Clapp, according to the detective, was also present and encouraging the sexual assault, insisting that Jackson better do it right. Green stated that he received several new videos early on Wednesday, just hours before the hearing. One of these videos depicted Jackson in handcuffs being forced into the bathroom at gunpoint and instructed to clean herself up. As preparations were made to leave the apartment, McCall and Lewis remarked about Jackson, stating, "Well, she's not leaving here." Testimony revealed that when Jackson was taken from the apartment, she was accompanied by Harris, Pope, and McDowell. Pope informed the police that he was driving Harris's Chevrolet Malibu, and Jackson was informed they were going to Dead Man's Road to clean trash out of Harris's car before taking her home. Both Pope and McDowell asserted that they, along with Jackson, were indeed cleaning trash out of Harris's vehicle when Harris approached Jackson from behind and fatally shot her in the back of the head. Green described that when Jackson's body was discovered, she was found near the woods line with a gunshot wound to the back of her head, bleeding onto a rock. Mahogany's mother reflects on the loss of her daughter, expressing that she sensed it deeply in her stomach, knowing Mahogany was gone even before the police located her body. Now, another child has to grow up without a parent, further perpetuating this vicious cycle of loss and grief. This tragic incident teaches us some important things to remember. The beginning argument between Mahogany and Taja, which turned into fights involving their friends, shows how violence can have serious consequences. It started with a small disagreement but ended with terrible violence, kidnapping, and even murder. This shows us how things can quickly get out of hand when people resort to aggression, causing permanent damage. Mahogany's situation emphasizes how someone she trusted as a friend, Taja Lewis, betrayed her by planning her kidnapping and murder. This shows us the risk of trusting the wrong people. It's a reminder to be careful about who we trust and to be aware of true friendships. The fact that many people were involved in Mahogany's kidnapping and murder shows how important it is to take responsibility for what we do. Everyone who played a part, big or small, is responsible for the terrible result. The arrests and charges against them remind us how crucial it is to hold people responsible for their actions when they commit crimes. This case also highlights how crucial it is to act quickly and recognize warning signs. When Mahogany sent her family a distressing message saying she was in danger, it should have led to immediate help. It's a reminder of how important it is to take such messages seriously and quickly inform authorities to prevent harm. Mahogany's mother, reflecting on her daughter's death, emphasizes how deeply tragedies like these affect families and communities. It stresses the importance of having support networks, empathy, and kindness for those impacted by violence. Strengthening communities that value understanding and assistance can help lessen the severe impact of such crimes. Overall, this incident serves as a stark reminder of the harmful outcomes of violence, the significance of trust and responsibility, the necessity of prompt intervention and awareness, and the importance of community backing during times of tragedy. We are deeply saddened to hear about the tragic loss of Mahogany Jackson. The circumstances surrounding her disappearance and untimely death are truly heartbreaking, and our hearts go out to her family and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. The details of Mahogany's ordeal are shocking and disturbing, and it's devastating to think about the pain and suffering she endured. No one should ever have to experience such violence and cruelty. Our thoughts are with Mahogany's family as they navigate through this unimaginable grief. Losing a loved one under such circumstances is incredibly painful, and we want you to know that you are not alone. Please know that we are here to offer our support, comfort, and condolences in any way that we can. We also recognize the importance of raising awareness about the warning signs of danger and the need for swift intervention in such situations. It is imperative that we take messages of distress seriously and act promptly to prevent harm. As Mahogany's mother reflects on her daughter's tragic loss, we are reminded of the profound impact that these tragedies have on families and communities. It is crucial that we come together to provide support, empathy, and compassion to those affected by violence. In honor of Mahogany's memory, let us strive to build stronger communities that prioritize understanding, support, and intervention in times of crisis. Together, we can work towards preventing such senseless tragedies from occurring in the future. Our deepest condolences once again. Our thoughts and prayers are with you during this difficult time. Thanks for watching Off the Wall Crimes, Lost Souls Edition. I will see you in the next video.